So let's have a Milwaukee welcome for John Barrowman.
Now I gotta put the goddamn thing down. Okay. Oh no, it didn't record. Just kidding. I'm gonna do the whole thing like this, standing up and looking down like this. No, I'm not. I'm gonna take one of these out of the... I like to walk around.
This one's wireless.
Is it wireless? I love toys that are wireless. Because you can use them in any part of the house. And I have. I'm talking about cell phones, by the way. And you're all laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Especially you. You still got yours turned on, don't you? That ain't your phone, is it? No. Please tell me you're over 18. You are that guy. Shit. By the way, I do tend to say a few naughty words, but I'm sure the children have heard them on the playground. Have they? Yes, good. And my apologies right off the bat. So thank you very much. Great to be here in Milwaukee. Yes. Champagne bucket with no champagne. Most of you may know, some of you may not know, but I have a home in the Milwaukee area in Brookfield. And, yeah, see, surprise. Oh my God, you live up here. Yes, I do. My sister lives in Wauwatosa. I'll give you her address so you can bombard her. That's the way, as a little brother, I get back at her. I'll just give you the address, show you a picture of the house, and just please do me a favor, show up at the door. And just say John sent you. And she'll have to invite you in, she will. Just don't ask her to cook, because she's a shit cook. Yeah, so I'm very familiar with this area. I know this is it's a newer con. It's as we can see, it's a smaller con. But let's hope that this is a start where it can be built to be one of the bigger ones in the country. Because that's why I'm here. I've come to show all the other people who are in show business that this is the place to come, Milwaukee. Even though we don't like your governor.
I knew I had to get around to it once at some point.
Did anyone see my tweet I did about him? What was it I called him? A bigoted asshole? Yeah. And his office responded. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No. What I like to do in these things, obviously, I like to tell stories, I like to answer your questions, and what I usually like to do is go right to the questions from you guys, because I'm sure you have some. If you don't, it's going to be a very long hour. And I play off of your questions, in a sense, feed off of you, like a vampire. So we'll just go right to it if you want to ask questions, yeah? Hands up, I'll point at you. Yes, sir.
You post a lot of funny videos online.
And there's a lot of them I don't post.
Can you tell us about last night's hair cannoli?
Oh, the hair cannoli. So, that goes both ways. Kind of like Captain Jack. They are, the hair cannoli, I was called on to set about an hour early. And they were relocating the trucks and bringing them in, and the trailers and everything to the studio. So I was there an hour early, and I said to Paul, who was the head of our hair department, I said, look, and Sarah, who was our third AD, which is kind of low down the totem pole in the AD sense of the words, AD meaning assistant director. Basically, she runs around, gets coffee, makes sure we're on set. She doesn't do any directing, but that's what she aspires to do. So she sat down in the chair, and I just started being stupid and being like a hairdresser. And Paul's saying to me, he's going, you know, you've got all the right moves. I said, well, if I ever don't want to do this anymore, I guess I can do hair. He said, let me show you how to do a French roll. I said, I've done a French roll before, but it was in Paris, and it was in a hotel room, and it was late at night. But this is very different. He said, so what we do is we pull the hair back, and we do the bobby pins. He doesn't talk like that, by the way. I'm just doing it to make it sound funny. So he said, you put the bobby pins in. And actually, he does talk like that, because if you look at the video, he does, doesn't he? So put the bobby pins in, and then he said, now you pull the hair over to the left, and then you roll it over. And you get this sort of great thing. I'm like, it looks like a cannoli. All you need to do is put cream in it. You know what a cannoli is, don't you? Thank God. I had to explain on the video, right? So we're looking at it, and I said, the cannoli, cream cannoli, da-da-da-da. Great, hair done. Well, that was all fine. 3 hours later, I got complaints. Some bad thing, because apparently I said something that offended somebody. No, wait a minute. You were like, me offend someone? No. We have a term of endearment in our trailer that we call each other, right? I'm going to say it because we don't mean it in a negative way, absolutely, and I don't think it is either. We call each other tranny-tastic. You know what I'm saying? And we say that, and we don't mean any malice to it. Well, someone typed online a whole thing, a whole speech about how the words that they used, I think, were something about how you're using the negative. No, they said I got to make this right. You're demeaning by using it in a demeaning way and making. I'm like, what video were you watching? I meant it all as fun. It was all fun, and we were, it's a compliment to each other. And if someone says to me like homotastic, I'm going to be offended because I am homotastic. And some of you are heterotastic, right? I'll forgive you for that one. So, it's not like, so I was quite miffed by it. And then Paul's like, I don't want haters. I'm like, honey, you already got haters. As soon as we post online, there's haters. I said, and so he said, well, should we respond to it? I said, no, just leave it. Because we know what we meant. And for those of you who watch it, and there's, you see the fun that we're having, there's no way we could have meant anything bad. So, you're all tranny-tastic. And if there are any transvestites out there, good for you! Because I'm the last one who's like going to say anything negative about the gay, lesbian, and transgender community, right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Thank you very much for that. So when you get home, try a cream roll cannoli. Except you might not have enough hair to do that. That was a bad one, wasn't it? Look, I was like, oh. Don't know what he meant by that one. Next question. Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh no, I was pointing at her behind you. Oh, it's all right, I'll get to you later. No, don't worry. I'll get to you later. Yeah. Plenty for everybody. Yes.
So we've all heard about the shenanigans you and your castmates got into on the Torchwood set. What did you get in the most trouble for doing? That's able to be told in public.
Oh my God, this is really funny. And again, I'm apologizing up front for telling this story, but this is just a brilliant story. It's always better when Eve's with me, when we do a panel together, and Eve tells this story. Because she has a word for them. I'm notorious on the Torchwood set. I haven't done it yet on Arrow, because I'm still, I'm new as the new regular on the show. And my boys, you know what I'm talking about? Cojones. I used to like when Eve was doing a close-up and it was over my shoulder and the camera would be, so this would be what it would be like. I would be standing here, camera's over my shoulder, and that would be Eve, and I would be talking to her. It's called a dirty over-the-shoulder shot, right? So we're standing there, and I thought, when I first learned, you know, they say, can you dirty the lens? I'm like, what? Which means get a little bit of your shoulder in on it. And I thought they might do something dirty, so I started taking my balls out. Seriously. And Eve would be standing, doing the close-up. The first time she was doing it, I'm Eve right now, so now I'm me. And she turned, I'm standing there doing the dialogue, da-da-da-da-da, I've got the coat on, everything, blah, 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 blah. And I would just pull my coat apart, and she'd just stare at me in the face and go, you've got them out again, don't you? Or she'd look into the camera and go, he's got his balls out again. The boys are out. I'm not looking. I said, you're gonna look. She said, I'm not gonna look. I looked. That's not the story. That's just to give you the kind of situation up to it, to let you know where it all comes from. I'm gonna need another shot for this one. We are filming in Cardiff in a working hospital. And we have taken over part of the hospital wing. And the worst thing that the producers found out, the worst thing that they could do was to leave Eve and I with time on our hands. Because we always got up to mischief. So, Eve and I are sitting around waiting, and they're doing another shot, and we're sitting around waiting. I said to her, what do you want to do? And she said, what's that big pipe? And I went, I don't know, let's find out where it goes. So we walked all the way down the hall we got to the reception desk, and we're by the reception desk. Eve, look, there's a canister. What does that do? It's like plastic, you can see through it, and it's hollow. Wait a minute, it fits here. If you open this, and we open this up, and went, oh, it's like a big vacuum cleaner. So it's like putting a big pill up a big vacuum cleaner, and it goes, where does it go? I have no idea where it goes. Let's find out. Do you have your camera? Yeah. Okay. Well, production has a printer over. No, there's a printer right here. Get your camera out. We're gonna Bluetooth the printer. Quick, take a picture of my balls. Click. Print, 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 print. You got a pen? Yeah, here, what are you gonna say? Come and visit me. Okay, put it in there. No, put it on the outside, Eve, so that you can see them. Screw the top on. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I am so ready. Okay, open up the door. I feel like I'm giving birth. She says you have no idea what it's like. And thank God. It's gone. We both stood there like two kids at Christmas going, no clue where this thing had gone, right? No clue. So we decided that we just kind of wait and see what happened. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and all of a sudden the tube comes back. Are you gonna open it? No. You open it. Okay, so we open up the thing, and it was like someone pooping on the table. We took it out, opened it up, still my picture in there, but with another picture of 3 nurses going, we'll be right there. Not only that, it went to the ward where, they deal with babies. So they were like, we see these all the time. I said, what, on babies? They said, no, on the guys who make them. We got to do all this stuff with them, in the, what is it called, in vitro and blah, 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 all that, So anyway, but we got in trouble. The next day we got hauled into the office. And I don't like being told no. And I'm sitting there with a face on me like that. And we got a lecture. A big lecture. Do you know what the main crux of the lecture was? John, do not send pictures of your balls to people randomly. This is what I look like. No, so that was the one. That was the one that I really. And after it, even I walked out of the office like that, head down, holding each other's hands. And I just looked at her and I went, "What do you think?" She went, "Bloody hilarious." And we're like that, walking out of the office. What's the matter? I'm crying. So that was the worst. That was the one we got in the most trouble for. But oh, things like that when you do them, you don't realize at the time, but when I look back on them, those are like the moments that are just amazing for me. Those. It's like the other one that oh no, I'll wait till you ask a question about that, and then I can go on for it. Yes?
Favorite character on Sing Your Face Off? Who's the best one to work with?
Ooh, good one. No one's ever asked me about Sing Your Face Off. Those of you who don't know, it was a show I did for a short time on ABC. Yeah, don't know if it didn't work. It's not been asked to come back, so I did it. Thank you very much. Ding! Bit of a gash. It was good fun. The one, Landry. I thought Landry was great because he's a basketball player, and bless his heart, when I saw him dressed as Nicki Minaj with a booty out to here, and he walked out and he owned it. He owned it. It was good. And and the night that we did that to him, he didn't realize that all of his basketball buddies were going to be in. I just said, "They're going to have fun with you in the shower." And actually they were joking. They said, "Did you wear that butt?" Because it was a proper prosthetic rear end. Yeah, it was good. He was my favorite. Yeah. Everybody on that was very good. John Lovitz. John Lovitz blew me away. Who knew John Lovitz could sing? Or as he'd go, "Who knew John Barrowman?" Next question. Yes. Oh, yes.
Congratulations on your MBE.
Thank you.
You actually all should bow when you meet me now. Seriously. Or curtsy.
What was it like meeting Princess Anne?
Well, I hate to say, to sound blasé about it, but I have met her before on other occasions, and I've met the Queen, and I've met other royals and things. I do a lot of charity work for, I've done things for the Princess Trust. Beverly, who's sitting right there, Bev Holt, who I talk about in my books. Bev and I have actually performed for Camilla and Charles at their house in Highgrove. I won't tell you what we did there. Because I'm bad. I am bad. No, I'm not telling you, because it's on camera and I could get busted by the Secret Service. I actually, though, did urinate in Charles's garden. Didn't I? We were being given a tour of the private gardens, and they're like, "And this is a mangaka tree, and they're going through all this stuff." I'm like, "Bev, I gotta pee. I really got." We're like a mile away from the house. She said, "Well, just go behind the tree or a bush." I'm like, "I can't do that in Charles's garden. We're far enough away. I'm gonna go do it." You keep her occupied. And Bev's going to the tour guide. "So what's this leaf?" There's a bush joke about to come, but I'm not gonna do it. Because Bev says, "How often should you trim your bush?" That depends, honey. So she's going, "This leaf is lovely, and then from this tree," while she points there, I'm over here, right? And then I'm standing, and a little of a shake, and then I come back like nothing's happened. We get back to the main house, and Bev and I are getting ready to, we're going to go off and perform, and it was a big charity event that he was having, and I'd been specifically asked to come up and sing, and I'm walking away, and one of the Secret Service men pulls me to the side and says, "Mr. Barrowman." I said, "Yes." My deep voice. "Yes. Mr. Barrowman, we have security cameras all over the grounds. And it might not be you, but it might be you. Or someone that looks like you. Urinating in the prince's garden?" I said, "Yes, my apologies. I was bursting for the toilet and I really needed to go." And he said, "Okay." He said, "Well, you know, I said, "Look, go talk to him. He's not going to have a problem with it." He said, "Well, how will he not have a problem with it?" "Because I made sure I peed in the organic garden. No chemicals, it's all organic, it's all going to be fine. I got to go sing. Bye!"
Better get in there quick! Put the china back!
There's more to that story. Anyway, so Princess Anne. What's great is I am involved with a charity called Hearing Dogs for Deaf People. I'm also involved with Dogs Trust Charity, which is a charity where we never put a healthy dog to sleep. We always rehome them. So if let's say an older person passes away and they want their dog to be taken care of, they make sure that it's given to the Dogs Trust. And heartbreaking things, but it's wonderful. We got a Yorkshire Terrier in once, and the old lady passed away, but the dog needed her slipper, so they took her slipper, and the slipper went with the dog to the next home. I know. So it's a great organization. I do a lot of cancer charities. I do a charity called Cry, which is for young people who, it's an arrhythmic problem with their heart. They just drop. If, like, you hear about it all the time. Kids on sports fields just dropping, right? And there is an issue, and we raise a lot of money to put vans and trucks going around the country to test young men and women so they don't drop dead. So there's loads more charities. Princess Anne is one of the main. She's the charity head. I was going to say queen. She's not the queen. She's the head of the Hearing Dogs charity and some other stuff that I also do. For me, it was really nice because I walked up and she was looking at me like, "I fancy seeing you here." So it was really nice, and I said to her, "I'm very honored that it's you who's giving me the medal because you're the one that I do the charity work with and for, and this makes it have, you know, much more impact." And when I walked up in my kilt, she did one of these, she literally went. But I made sure when I was getting ready to go up that my mom and dad were there. I took my mom and dad and Scott, and they sat and my mother, that was the best thing. My mother grabbed my arm and we're walking into the palace. And at first we're driving in, and my mom just, when we went through the gates and she's looking, and we went into the main part of the palace. There's a central courtyard which you don't see, and you drive your car and park, and then you go into the front of the palace and you walk up the stairs. And when we walked in, the thing that's a great honor, an MB is a member of the British Empire, and it's an honor given to you by the Queen and on behalf of the nation to say thank you. For me, it was thank you for my contributions to charity and to light entertainment. And when we're going in, all of the guards and all the regalia, and the beef eaters, so the public purse have paid for this to honor you, to bring out all that. So it was a wonderful thing. My mom grabbed my arm and she's walking and she said, "I never thought when I was pushing you out 47 years ago I'd be walking through the palace doors with you." And I went, "Mom, I don't know whether to cry or to throw up." A nice way to put it though. When I was pushing you out. But anyway, before I was going to go up to receive it, I turned to look at all three of them, and they were just, all of them, "Scott! Unbelievable," like this. Normally he's got his head in the book going, "Oh, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up." But all of them were just beaming, and there was an orchestra. The room Really? Anyone a Throner? Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Alright, so you know Game of Thrones, you have the throne room? This is the throne room we're in. And honest to God, there's a big gold throne in Buckingham Palace with the big red drape canopy over it and the drapes all going down and Anne stands here just like this and not you walk up, there's a guy here, guy there to make sure you don't do what you're not supposed to do. You walk in, turn around, you know, bow your head if you're a man, or you curtsy if you're a woman, or if you're both, you do that. Because you're tranny-tastic. So, but up in, you know, they have a gallery, which they would, in the old days, and they had a full orchestra up there playing for us. Playing through the whole thing, and just before I walked out, guess what song they played? No, it's none of the ones that I sang. They played Danny Boy, and I thought, oh my God, my mother is gonna be just creased.
Sing it.
No. So but I walked out. It was really, I didn't think I would be as overwhelmed or as nervous, and as soon as I got up to be ready to walk out, I was. But it's such a great honor to be recognized that way, and it's the equivalent of getting the presidential award, the medal. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. So, yeah. What?
Did you bring it?
Did I bring it? No. It's called insurance. The what?
You said you were going to show it.
I will show it, but at the moment you can see it online. My mom and dad is at the house in Palm Springs, and I think, you know, they just sit and have cocktails at 5 o'clock and look at it at the moment. Cocktail? My mother drink? No! Yeah, they sit and look, and anybody who comes in the house, like a guy came UPS to deliver a package for me the other day, and he walked up and my mom went, "You must see this!" "Oh boy, John, MBE," and the postman's like, "What the hell?" "Lady, you're crazy." I said, "Mom, you don't have to do this." She said, "I don't care! I want everyone to know." I said, "Well, why don't you put it right on the roof?" She said, "That's a good idea. You know, the plane's flying over, I can see it. It'll sparkle." Yeah, so it's good. Yes, next question. Yes, sir.
Is it true that you usually wear, like, superhero underwear?
Oh yeah, drop it.
You don't want to see my underwear today. I've been working till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock last night. I went home, packed, went to the airport, got on a plane, 3.5-hour flight from Vancouver, arrived here in Chicago, drove from Chicago. I was sweaty. You don't want to see my underpants right now. But it is true. But I don't have superhero ones on at the moment. I have my royal ones on. They're Pringles. They're Scottish. Because I'm a big Scots lad. Yeah, no, but I did bring underwear. I just forgot to put them on. I have Batman ones to wear. Yes. What? Tomorrow. No, I'll wear them tomorrow. Stop telling me what to do! I'm an MBE! Massively big ego! That's what my sister said it was, bitch. Come and see Carol and I tomorrow, and I'll wear my underwear. Yeah. And she'll be like, "Please don't take your pants off." Like, what? What's the problem? Don't take your shirt off. No. Anyway, next question. Yes, in the back.
Do the underpants have a cape?
Is that a challenge? A challenge? Okay, I'm gonna put a cape on my underwear then. Alright. 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 Do your knickers have a cape? Or do they just flap when you fart? Or the ladies not fart in Wisconsin? Trust me, they do. I have been on public transportation in downtown Milwaukee and heard a few. Yep, and that was just my sister. I don't care. I can run faster because I am younger. Yes.
I have a question about
Yes.
His sexuality, obviously, is pretty rare on TV. We don't see a lot of roles like that.
Mm-hmm. Can y'all hear?
Can you hear me? No. Oh no. You sat there.
Just hold on to it. Right there. Pretend it's me. Pretend it's me holding a mic! God, you guys are bad. And I love you. Not you, girl, all them. Turn around, talk to them.
All right.
Okay, ask the question. It's like Dr. Phil.
So Captain Jack, his sexuality is pretty unique on television. We don't often see characters like that. I think putting that on a family show was pretty risky for Davies and Mr. Barrowman here. I was wondering if you had any concerns when you took the role about being typecast or the controversy that might cause.
First of all, with the, thank you. I heard sometimes it wasn't a children's show. It wasn't a Torchwood wasn't Torchwood wasn't for kids really. It was for fan adults. But Doctor Who, definitely. And that's where Captain Jack was born, and it was a risk. We as a, you know, I get a lot of credit for it. I really do, and you know, but you got to credit Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat and Julie Gardner, and also the BBC for allowing and for putting characters like that on television. Because the one thing the BBC do in the UK is they cater to everybody. I was exceptionally proud for the fact that I was a hero. I was a hero first. And I'm saying this is what they told me when I was getting the job. This is what they wanted. I was a matinee idol. I was a troubled man. And on down the line, I was omnisexual, and which, you know, I was either with girls or boys, and it didn't matter. If he loved somebody, that's who he was with. He tended to be more with men, because that's where, you know, I flourish. But it was easier for them to write. It was also easier for me to do. The thing that was great is, if I was growing up and had someone like that to look at on television, a character like that, I probably wouldn't have been in the closet when I was younger. I probably wouldn't have. I don't think I was really in the. I mean, I never told anybody I was gay, but you know what? Everybody around me pretty much knew. But I dated girls. I did all that kind of stuff. But if I had a character to look like that, I thought it's not going to be a big deal. And that's why I wanted to be Captain Jack also, because the stories that I hear when I travel around the country from young men and women who actually say we have a character on television who's, and there's very different types of gay men and women in the spectrum, right? There's, you know, there's effeminate men, which I'm not. I can be silly and I can act like one, but we're all very different, as we are in every community. And for the unfortunate thing is on television that it's always the stereotype that is represented. It's not the real, not the reality. And Jack was the real, and I think that's what clicked. It was a risk. It was something people said to me, "Are you sure you want to do it?" And I'm like, you know what? I never thought I would ever be on this planet to be. I never thought I was going to be kind of an activist for gay rights and for, which I just call human rights, right? And all of a sudden, I am. And with this character, it's put me even further down that realm. And I always say this, I am happy to represent the people who do not have a voice yet, and I always will. And that's one thing that Captain Jack has brought to me, as he's brought this to you. But he's awesome. I love him. He's changed my life, you know? He's a character that I would play at the drop of the hat again, if they asked me to. And the producers on Arrow are huge Doctor Who and Torchwood Captain Jack fans. So yeah, we just said if you're ever asked to do it, they would try to work things out. I'm like, yes. But they just haven't asked. Who knows, it might never happen, but I was Captain Jack. Is this a follow-up question? Not really.
Just to piggyback on what you said about being a sort of source of inspiration for people, I have a friend who discovered after 5 years of marriage to her husband in her late 20s that she was bisexual. very hard time for her, and she said that Captain Jack is what helped her come to grips with everything in her life.
Good. And I will always say that you don't just discover. It's not like waking up one morning and going, oh, I'm going to have bacon and eggs, and I'm going to be gay today or bisexual. Doesn't work that way. She's always known. She's just never, it was hard for her. She's just never been able to be honest about it. And that's why we need more people represented on television, so that people can start to be honest about who they are inside. And they don't have to, they don't have to pretend, right? Because it's not just hurting themselves, they're hurting other people. So that's why we have to allow people to be themselves. So there's no more hurt in the world. That's a song, everybody! No more hurt in the world, be yourself. Take your sexuality from the big top shelf. Put it on like some Uggs and you warm your feet. Then go off to your house and never mind. That'll be in my next album. Yes, ma'am.
I know I got to tell you thank you earlier because I shared my daughter's experience.
Yes, you did, and that was a very similar thing about how Captain Jack and I have helped her.
But at the same time, I always wanted to know your reaction to finding out the face of Bo.
David and I were filming, and I don't like to read ahead, okay? I just like to see the scripts as they come. Because as an actor, that helps me, I don't think about what's coming and it stops me from playing what's coming in what I'm doing in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
David, however, being the Doctor, was Doctor Who. David likes to read forward to see what's going to happen so he can suss things out. Two very different approaches of acting. So he gets the script, and I'm in my trailer, and I'm having coffee, or I'm getting ready or something, and all of a sudden I hear, "Come in! Come in!" Opens the door, goes, "Oh my God, have you read the script? It's unbelievable!" I said, "Don't tell me! Don't tell me! I'm trying to tell me! Tell me!" He's like, "Oh God, you gotta read it." So he walks away. Next day, "Come in! Come in! Have you read it yet? No! God! Leave me alone! Doctor!" So I think, you know what? I better read this script. So I sit down the next day in lunch break, and I'm sitting down and I'm reading it, and I run over to David's trailer. He goes, "Come in." I said, "I read it! Oh my God! I read it! You believe that you're a face of Bow? No way! Oh my God!" That was the reaction. Then, when the episode was airing, we used to have little get-togethers in someone's apartment place, and like there was in my place in Wales, and we were having pizza. We called it Dirty Pizza Night, which is because you're not supposed to eat pizza. No, not dirt. No, they weren't in the pizza. See, you're listening good. I like that. You like the way I bring it all around? So Dirty Pizza Night, we're sitting, and I get up in the middle of the episode. And I walked over to my place, and it was my condo in Cardiff, and I opened the window. David went, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just waiting to hear the nation's jaw drop." "'Cause I am the face of Bo." So that was how it all happened. Go to the back. I'll come back to you. Go to the back. Yes. Yeah, you.
Speaking of being the face of Bo, we all know how the cat nurse said that she could hear the songs he'd sing. What songs were you singing to her?
You got way too much time on your hands. What?
I think it was I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Really? I think it was a song called Face Off. No, I wouldn't know. I'd have to. Gosh, it would. I don't know. I've never. If I were to pick a song, I've grown accustomed to your face. I don't know. That's a good question, though. I'm not going to think about it anymore. Yes. Where was that? Yes.
I just want to say that I love you.
Thank you.
What's another one?
Yes.
You do a lot of stunts and whatnot. Have you ever been hurt or hurt anyone else in the process?
Oh, yes. Not very often, because I'm a control freak. And I like to really know what I'm doing, and I treat my stunt work like dance. So I know where I am, on what beat, where I am on what word, and I know that I'm not going to injure somebody. But sometimes, things go just a little bit awry. One of the ones that pops into my head, the first one, was when we were in Torchwood, and we were doing one of the scenes at an airport, and I, with the stunt guy, had to, we were literally standing there, and I had to kick up to his face, do it like, not, I can't do it in these pants because they're too tight, and if I do that, I'll rip and then everything will come out. So I'm supposed to come up and I'm supposed to kick him in the face, but a little bit of a round kick, you know what I'm talking about? So we do it first rehearsal, boom, boom, no problem. So we're gonna do a take. Your adrenaline goes, because you try to get yourself up a little bit, and I went boom, boom, and I felt his face on the bottom of my shoe. And I had to continue, because they didn't yell, cut. And he looked up, and I looked at him, and his nose, and his face was blood everywhere. And I ran, because I was supposed to run in the scene, and then they yelled, cut. And I walked back, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm so sorry about your face. And he's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. It's like, I said, no, it's not fine. He said, no, it's fine, it's fine. He said, and the stunt master came up and he went, it's fine, that's what he's paid for. They'll reset it, he'll be back tomorrow. You can do it all over again. And he gets up and he goes, yeah, I'll be all right. Jimmy, come here. Fine. Yep, those boys are tough. However, on Arrow, I was doing a stunt, one of my first ones with Steven, and it was the first time I ever wore the Dark Archer outfit. And it's much better now because we've worked on it. It's very claustrophobic. Turtleneck, layers, hood, gimp mask. So when Malcolm says a lot, right? He's always got the most to say. But with that gimp mask on as the Dark Archer, and I have to deliver these speeches, and I'm like, why do you write me these speeches? Because I'm just gonna have to go in and dub them. Plus, it's like, I can't breathe. So I'm doing this first sequence, and I'm supposed to kick Steven through the wall. He goes down, I'm supposed to go in, and I'm going, and kicking him, right? We've rehearsed it. No problem. I start getting panicky in my costume because I'm getting hot, and I'm thinking, what have I got to say? I've got to do a whole speech while I'm kicking him. Oh my God, I can remember. Action! Kick! Boom! Boom! I kick Steven right in the shins, in the knee, and he gets up and he's going, Oh, Steven, I'm so sorry. It's like the second time it's ever happened in my career. There was a first! I'm really sorry. He said, oh, I'll be fine. I said, no, dude, you're not fine. Because I've had it happen to me before, and right now you want to punch me. Go on, hit me. Hit me, I'll make you feel better. He's like, I had steel toe caps in my boots. Ow. Yep. We laugh about it still to this day. Yeah. His shins were hurting. But but now our stunt guy's on Arrow. I mean, I almost let something slip there. A little spoiler. But our stunt team who do do all of our big stunts for us are awesome. And Bam, call him Bam Bam. He calls me TV's John Barrowman. And I walk on and said, ladies and gentlemen, it's TV's John Barrowman. Like yeah. But Bam Bam, his team are incredible. And they make us look better than what we really are. So, but yeah, good stunt stuff. Next question. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, hi. Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but there's a clip of you online, and it's with you and David Tennant, and you go into the car, David's in the car, and you're going in the car, and you go, I have cake, look, I have cake, and he goes, woohoo! And I was just wondering, A, if there's more to that story, I don't know, and B, if there's any more hilarious stories like that.
The cake story really was just a moment about cake. David and I like food. And whenever there was food on set, we were happy. Particularly when you had a scene that you had to include food. So that was probably a moment where we're like, oh, cake! There's a cake! Ha-ha! However, there was another time when we had a scene where we were supposed to, they said, you're in a derelict, it was the end of, was it End of Days? No. The one where I want to say not Jumanji, the teeth.
The rest of the Time Lord.
Thank you. No. Utopia, yes. So they said you're going to do a sequence where you're hiding out and you're going to be sitting down and you're going to be eating. And they said, what do you want to eat? And I said, David, it's 11 o'clock, we're on night shoots. We're going to be here till 6 in the morning. What do you want? He said, oh, I'd love some chips. Okay, so we're going to do chips. Not like American chips, but French fries. Thick, big, fat chips. So we go, ready, and action. Doctor, I can't remember the dialogue, but we back and forth, we're eating chips. Chips are brilliant. Wide shot, the camera pulls away. David and I are still eating chips. Cut! Great, take 2. Ready? David, I'm sorry, doctor. Chips. Sauce. Okay, an hour later. Take 32. Action. Chip. I hate chips. We had to eat 2 hours worth of chips. And they got cold. With salt and vinegar on them. So they smelled like a fish market. It was horrible. So yeah, there's been good cake, yay! Chips, there was someone else back here. Yes, it was you. No, yep.
You have played both a hero and a villain, and I want to know which was your favorite to play and why.
I never answer favorite questions. Sorry. Because the moment I say which is which, I'm stuck. Because all of you with keyboards will never let me change my mind ever again. So what's great about what I do is I can be a blonde Nazi, which I have been. I can be a hero. I can be a villain. I can be a lover to somebody. I can be a dad. That's what's great about my job. I can be everything that I have, always kind of thought, or maybe not wanted to be, but the things I am not. I'm not a hero. I'm not a villain. I'm a son. I'm a lover. I'm a friend. So yeah, but that's what I love, and I love the diversity that my job brings. So and it's great. It's wonderful. I like them all. I like everybody. That lady there, yes.
I just love you as Malcolm Merlin and Arrow.
Thank you.
What's in store for him? I know you can't probably say much, but now that Thea has left and I see the upcoming episode is that they know you're back in town, are you gonna team up maybe? I see you teaming up with Arrow, getting the League of Assassins, maybe, is that?
And you think I'm stupid enough to answer your question with your husband got a camera rolling? All I'll say is, cannot tell you anything. All I'll say is watch. And however, that you know prior to this last episode that was on, if you followed stuff that I've said, I'm telling you honestly, it was the most dysfunctional, it is the most dysfunctional father-daughter relationship you'll ever see on television. I mean, how many dads, well, no, that's not a nice thing to say, because there are people who suffer from that out there. I'm not making light of it, but it is a very big dysfunction. I mean, I was saying I'm going to treat you like, you know, my colleagues, and then poof, and I elbow her in the face. That's not a nice dad. But it was so much fun to do. To be a bad man. But yeah, it's play and it's fantasy and it's storytelling. But yeah, I can't tell you anything in the future, but all I'll say is if you like what you're seeing, there's going to be jaw-dropping moments, and I would wear a Depends because you will pee yourself a few times. Okay? Got it? I carry them with me all the time, just in case. Yeah. Because when I'm watching, like I was watching... No! I just caught up with... I'm not on season 4 yet, but I just caught up season 3 of Game of Thrones. I was on a plane in the middle of the night when the blood wedding happened. Red wedding, blood, it was bloody! Red wedding. I actually stood up in my seat in first class of Virgin Atlantic and went, no! And wet myself. Just a little, but enough that the flight attendant came running down the aisle. Mr. Barrowman, what's wrong? I said, you don't understand! They just killed them! Mr. Barrowman, you're frightening the passengers. I don't care! Did you see the mother? The look on her face! You just killed my son. I know this is the end of our family, but she doesn't know her little daughter's running around. When they slit her throat. Oh. Spoiler alert. When they slit her throat, the expression on her face, I was devastated. I was like, you gotta land this plane right now. I gotta go talk to somebody. Because my sister and I usually text when things happen on television and programs we're watching that are just awesome. I'm like, I gotta call my sister. Mr. Barrowman, we're at 35,000 feet. I don't care. Take this down in Canada now. Land in Bangor, Maine or something. But let me get to a phone because they're all dead. Winter is coming, Jon Snow. Unbelievable. I don't even know what the question was now. See, but I got off the question about telling you the future. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What was I doing there? Remember that move? Yes. Yes.
Have you ever accidentally spoiled anything that you've been in?
No. No, because I'm very good. I'm very good in the sense that I'm going to tell you something honestly. I'm very good at knowing how to market what we're doing. Does that make sense? And also because I'm just like you. I'm a fan. I enjoy the shows. I am a fan of my own show. Listen, I wanted to be on television and do this all my life. I watch myself in television and I sit there and go, I'm good. I like me. And you know what? Other people be like, that's really arrogant. I don't give a shit. I'm on TV. And I've always wanted to be there, right? So I enjoy it. And as a fan, I enjoy those surprises too. That's why, like the face of I didn't want to know. So with, Steven and I will always talk in the trailer, and I love talking to Steven in the trailer because he's always like this, naked, lying down. with a little loincloth on, and he's getting all this scarring done, and he's going, "Hey John, what's up, Barrowman?" I'm like, "Yeah, possibly me right now, but I'm just gonna stand here." And he said, and he'll be talking. I was saying, he said, "You want to come and talk?" I'm like, "I'll come and do anything you want right now, Steven." I said, and I'm not gonna look down. Oh, I did. There I looked. It's out of the way now. All done. And he just he lies there and he laughs. And then we talk about business, and we talk about other stuff. He'll be talking about what's gonna happen. I'm like, "Don't tell me, because if you tell me, I will have to squeeze something to make you shut up." So I don't like to know. I like to be surprised like everyone. So I'm very good at keeping secrets. Aren't I? Yes, princess.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you've done some theater. What are your dream roles? Whether discarding age and gender, even that.
Well, I have played a woman before. I've done. I did the Lacage. Well, he was pretending to be a female impersonator. He was cross-dressing. So yeah, I've played in Lacage. I had the best time doing that. Not just because I got to walk around in high heels and a dress, because that I could do anytime. And you think I'm joking? I bought all those costumes. Every costume I had in Lacage, I bought them. Seriously. And there was one Christmas at our house in Cardiff in Wales. We have a lovely house by the sea, and there's a long hallway that goes down the middle of the house, bedrooms on one side, there's a courtyard on the other, to a back section of the house. I've described it, you'll understand why in a bit. But there's glass doors along the back that look out into the sea, if I described it correctly. But there's like a catwalk, runway down the middle of the house with stairs at the end. And I had my friend Sally Ann Triplets come over for Christmas once with her husband, Gary, who is really gorgeous. Straight as a board, right? But really friendly and doesn't give a crap about anyone. I said, "Gary, do you want to put up maybe a little bit of, quite a few of it, probably like 6 bottles of champagne, because that's what I like to do at Christmas. Don't give me presents, just keep that champagne coming." And we're walking down, I said, "Gary, come to my closet, Gary." And he's like, whoa. I'm like, "Just come on. We have a room in the front of the house that's just dedicated to clothes." And I said, "Come on in." And I went, "Look at this." He went, "Oh, I've never seen a straight man's eyes light up so much." He's like, "Can I wear that red one?" I'm like, "You got it." So Gary just rips his clothes off, and I'm standing there going, "Sally Ann, you lucky girl." And he put the red dress on, put the shoes on, I put on the little beaded one, and he and I did a catwalk by ourselves down the hallway for 20 minutes. We're like that. And I go, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm an Evangelista. I'm the only cannibal." And he went, just stupid. Roles that I would love to do Lacage again, because it's not just so much for the fun of the dressing up, but I love what that show stands for. I love what it's a different type of family, but it's about love. That's what I enjoyed about that. I would enjoy other roles. I'd like to do a version of Camelot, but I'd like to put a twist on it, because when I did Camelot in high school, but even back then, I always thought there was something really different. Yes, Arthur loved Guinevere, and yes, Lancelot loved Guinevere, but I also think that Arthur and Lancelot, I'm not saying they did anything, but there was a love for each other there. So you have this love triangle going on, because Arthur's got to banish both of the people that he loves the most from Camelot, because they have betrayed him. But it's a heart-wrenching story, so I'd love to do that. And if any of you steal that idea, I will find you and I will kill you. If I had to do any cross-gender stuff, I don't know who I'd play. I'm too old to play Lancelot. Wouldn't it be great if David Tennant was Arthur and I was Lancelot? I also, if there was one female role that I could do, Norma Desmond. It's Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. Just because it's such a beautiful sing. And I did, one of the cabarets that Beverly and I did sing, I did a section in the cabaret where I sang women's songs that I've always had to sit as the male lead and listen to and think, I could do it.
I think that all the time.
Do you?
I do.
But you know what? There's no saying that you can't sing the songs and change the words. Yeah, you just legally you're not allowed to. But what are they going to do? Come find you in Milwaukee? Really?
Why would Andrew like Weber want to come all the way over here with this guy?
I don't know.
He was in Des Moines.
He was in Des Moines?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he must have been making money in Des Moines then. Yes. I know I've got one more minute. I could do this all afternoon. We got a little more time. Because it's all about me. Me, MBE, massively big ego. I don't know how to, I've never touched a button in my life. Two of you got that one. It's not working. This is a shit phone. Contact list is being updated? Oh, wait. Shh. That's your ringtone for your husband? What is he, a leprechaun? He's Irish. Well, I figured that. He's not Russian with music like that, is he? So when they play... Wait, I know, but how do I call? Oh, shh. I just wanted to hear. I will answer it. What's his name?
Taylor.
Are you both married to him? Hello? Oh my God, this is. Get an iPhone. Taylor? Taylor, how are you? We're in a room with a couple hundred people and your wife's phone rang. And I'm John Barrowman and I'm talking to you now. What? This is the credit card company? You are way over your limit. Taylor, I'm gonna hand you back to your wife. She'll explain.
Yes. First off, VIDEOGRAPHER's lawyers did send a cease and desist to a company in Milwaukee who was doing a gender swap on Oleana. Just
Really?
a couple months ago.
Well, you know, some people don't want things changed, and you can understand that, but there's also the kind of thing where I will say, because there's a lot of directors who come in, take the phone call out of the room now, girls. Go on. Talk to Taylor outside. She's running. Jump out, come and get me. Some people will let change happen. Others, Stephen Sondheim's one who's brilliant about that. He will let you kind of adapt and do things. So, you know, and I can understand it, but let it go. Let it go! Let it go! No! Misery. The cold don't bother me 'cause I'm gay. Yes. Yes, you? Yes. Yep. And I love doing the sequences with Gareth because Gareth is of a generation, and you know, and he just doesn't care really. You know, again, he's very tactile, very touchy, and you know, I would go up, and if I saw Gareth, I'd go up and I'd hug him and kiss him. And we would think nothing of it, right? But he's married, 2 kids, right?
So cute.
Yeah. So one sequence we're doing in the Torchwood Hub, and I'm meant to be making out with him, and Eve is supposed to walk into the greenhouse, and she's supposed to catch us. And I'm always very careful and cautious when I am doing scenes with somebody who, you know, it might not be their norm. You know what I'm saying? That I'm always very aware of that, because, and I would appreciate, and I know that when I'm doing scenes with girls, although I do know what I'm doing, you might not believe it, but I do know what I'm doing. You just pretend it's a man, and it's the same thing, right? And some of the guys go, what? 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 We all do the same thing, yes. But so in the sequence, I'm supposed to have his trousers and be rubbing his leg. Got it? So she's supposed to walk in and catch us. God, I love how like, so quiet you get when I talk about stuff like that. I didn't know it was like that up in Milwaukee. I thought you were all beer-drinking cheeseheads. Come on. So Eve's supposed to walk in and interrupt us, and I said to Gareth, I said, look, I'll put my hand in the thigh and I'll make it the simulation so everything looks copacetic and you're not embarrassed. So, and they said, action, and I start going, we're kissing, I'm rubbing, and Eve walks in and she goes, cut! I mean, pants are undone, we're kind of, when you have to at certain times, when you're doing things like that, you've got to be, you know, you got to be real about it, right? I'm looking at her going, come on, Eve, come on, pants down this, and the whole crew's watching. Okay, I'll get it. So, action! That's my kissing. And she walks in, she goes, please. So we do it about 5 more times. 5th time, I'm standing there. Ready? Action! Eve walks in, she goes, what? Come on, would you get it right? Daryl goes, please get it right, because he's not rubbing my leg anymore! You can get it wrong again. Gareth is gorgeous. Really gorgeous. And yeah, it was very nice to kiss him. Yes. Yeah. You're the one with your hand up.
So you mentioned, this is kind of going back to some of the questions you answered prior. You mentioned that you're a big fan of pretty much every series you do, and that you don't read ahead in the scripts. Do you ever find yourself kind of creating ideas as to what's going to happen next with your characters?
All the time. All the time. I was just talking to Andrew Kreisberg the other day, and we had a dinner in Vancouver, a cast dinner. The head of CW came up, took us all out to dinner. Ourselves, cast of Arrow, and the cast of the 100. And we were all, I was talking to Andrew, who's one of our exec producers, and he was telling me something that was going to happen. I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's like, no, I got to tell you. I'm like, okay. And then I went, I'm not going to die again, am I? And he's like, no. So I do. And actually, some of the stuff that, one of the things that is on the show, the reason Thea is my daughter is because of myself and Scott. We were having lunch with Andrew, and he was saying to us, we got to figure out something, because he knows I'm a big fan of the genre. I have a DC encyclopedia on one side of the bed, and I have a Marvel one on the other side of the bed. So depending on which way I want to go, do I want to go with Batman one night, or do I want to go with, flip-flop over there to Captain America? I have a choice. So and he knows I'm a fan, he knows I like to create these things also in my head. One of the things, well, that's another thing. So I said to him, he said, we in season 2 we think we're going to reveal that Steven is your son. And I went, no, it's too kind of, look at your father. Oh. As much as I would love that, and as much as I would love to be Stephen Amell's daddy, that ain't gonna happen. So I said, I was about to say something. Scott looked up and he went, as he was eating his tuna niçoise, he said, "Why don't you make Thea his daughter?" And both Andrew and I went, "Oh my God." And I'm looking at Scott going, "Are you high? Because you never come up with stuff like this. What is going on?" And he went, "No," he said, "because if that Thea's your daughter, then Oliver can't kill you because he's lost his father and he wouldn't kill his sister's dad." I'm like, "Oh my God, Scott, you've just secured finance for the next 10 years. I love you." So that's how it started. And then in another episode, to say thank you to Scott, they put a doctor in, a character, and his name is Sheridan Gill, which is Scott's real name. So that was their little homage. Andrews, he said, "I'm going to put his name in. We'll listen for Sheridan Gill." So if you can find it. Have you found it? No. Yes.
This is an odd, deep-cut question, but...
Oh my God, I'm going to sit down for this one. She was knitting the whole first half hour. Now she's got the question.
I was just curious how you ended up in Zero Dark 30, because I scared an entire theater when you suddenly appear on the screen. I was like, Barrowman! I was so
I do that all the time, like on the plane. Isn't it great to see people's reactions? How did I show up on it? They asked me to be on it. They called me up and they said, I'm telling you what the casting director said, we want really kind of reputable actors in Britain to play these smaller roles. And I said, great, if you think I'm reputable. I went in and I read for it, and they said, fine, be in it. Now, when I started it, it's about 2 weeks worth of work. There was a lot more being said, and every, conference room sequence, I started with a big speech of saying what was happening, how we got there, and then we got to the movie, and I had one line. And I was in the elevator, and everything else was cut. And I'm fine with that, because I went home to Scott and I said, you know what, I think it's all going to get cut, because they're just going to want to see her, James Gandolfini, and the other guys, and they're going to get to the meat of the stuff, and they're going to drive the movie forward. I said, but you know what, I'm getting paid for 2 weeks, plus I'm on, and you know, we didn't know at that time, but people say to me now, oh yeah, like other actors, yeah, you were in Zero Dark 30, you had one line. I'm like, yeah, but it was an Academy Award-winning movie, and you've never been in one. And it might be one line, but it's mine! And I swore, too. It was a swear word, wasn't it?
An F-bomb.
The F-bomb. F-bomb. It was, yes.
Are you excited they're bringing in the magician stuff from the comics from Merlin?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes.
They announced it, though.
I didn't announce it. Wait, sorry. Shout. Speak up. Sing out, Louise.
How did you feel when you had to sacrifice your grandson?
That is the worst.
Okay. Here's what happened. When I filmed that, I'll tell you the story leading up to it in a second. But after we filmed it, in Torchwood, I don't know if any of you have watched that Children of Earth, at the end of it, I have to sacrifice my grandson in order to save the planet, right? I was walking in the supermarket. In the UK, that I still can do my own shopping. People recognize me, but they're great. I love them. They let me do my own thing, as they do here. I don't get recognized as much over here, but it's changing. And I'm walking in the supermarket, and this woman comes up to me after that episode aired, and she went, I hate you. How could you do that to your grandson? I hate you. Love the show, by the way. That happened constantly. And people coming up to me going, you disgust me. How could you kill a child? I'm like, but it's to save the world! I don't care. Awesome show. Right? So more people said this to me, more thinking, I gotta defend this. Put yourself, here's the position when I play a character, I actually I put a lot of my own personality into it, right? Which is, I think, why you guys connect with them. And Jack was there was a lot of Jack in me and a lot of John and Jack. I put myself in a position of thinking, if you were in this position, if you knew that if you could sacrifice a family member to save humanity, would you do it? Okay, so mixed. Some people say no right away. Some people say yes. That was the dilemma. Jack knew that none of the politicians were going to do it, right? No other family, you couldn't ask anyone to go and do that. So Jack had to take that responsibility on himself and have his daughter hate him for the rest of his existence. And he's going to live a long time. But he had to do it to save humanity. So that was the reason behind it, okay? Because Jack always makes tough decisions. However, when we were filming it, the little boy, who is now like almost 20, he's probably about 18, 19. His name is Bear, right? And Bear was adorable. And Bear came up to me in my trailer and he said, John, Mr. Barrowman, he called me. I said, don't call me Mr. Barrowman, that's my dad. Oh, John, is there anything I can do to make it a bit more, like, creepy? 9-year-old kid. I'm like, yeah. When we do the sequence, you keep your eyes on me, Bear, okay? You watch me. And I said, when we do the thing, I want you to shake. Violently, okay? You shake as violently as you can. I said, now I'm going to tell the hair and makeup people to put a little bit of blood up your nose, and when they do that and you shake, it's going to shake it loose and it's going to dribble down your chin. And just look at me, don't take your eyes off of me. And the kid did it. And he just looked at me, and all of a sudden he just started. And he violently shook and violently shook. And I'm even looking at him and going, holy shit, this is really creepy. We're gonna get in such a mess about this one, because this kid looks like he is actually dying. And then he just dropped. He did it himself. He's like, he dropped to the ground, and that was him. And they went, and then cut. I walked up to him and went, what did you do? Are you okay? He went, yeah. He said, the shaking was wonderful. He said, the blood and everything. He says, I thought it just dropped. I said, well, you freaked everybody out. He's like, I know. Good little actor. So yeah, but that was one of the creepier things. But again, reiterating the point with Jack that he had to make the tough decisions. No one else would make them, and he was able to make them because he knew that he could take all that on board, the pain of humanity, the pain of other people, and he would live with it. And that's why he was the troubled character, but yet he was such a great hero. Fabulous. Last one, and we're done. I'm being told I have to go. My minder, she came to get me. Where is she? Right over there, blame her. One last question here. Make it a goodie.
Do you have any plans of getting back to Dr. View?
It's not my choice. I said earlier I would love to, but it's up to them. Who knows? You know, stranger things have happened. But the one thing, like I said before, I was and always will be Captain Jack Harkness. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Awesome! Come tomorrow and see my sister and I, because you think this is outrageous, just wait till she's here.